Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Easton Cook and I normally post about flight attendant stuff. But tonight I'm going to talk about something else that I'm interested in, and that is Apple. Now, if you're a returning viewer and you came to this channel and you're like, whoa, where's my flight attendant content? I got you. Here you go. Here's your one flight attendant thing for tonight. As of right now, Delta Airlines is hiring. So if you've always wanted to apply or you're waiting for that window, I would apply right now because you don't know when the window is going to open again, especially since they hired a massive amount of flight attendants this year and they're hiring some next year. It could be a while until that window opens again after this one. So I would apply now, at least get your foot in the door. Now, if you clicked on this video because you're like, oh, I just can't decide if I need to upgrade my iPhone or not. Well, I got you. Because I was actually doing the same thing. See, I am a massive Apple fan. I upgrade my iPhone every single year, but full transparency, I've got the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I did not upgrade last year to the 14 Pro Max because it really wasn't worth the upgrade in my eyes. But I'm not going to make you wait for the whole video to find out if I'm upgrading. Yes, I am upgrading my iPhone 13 Pro Max to the iPhone 15 Pro Max starting tomorrow when I can pre-order it. But let's see if that upgrade is worth it to you. Now, I'm not going to get into all the specs and all the itty bitty details of every single iPhone. I'm not doing that. I'm going to compare 3 iPhones and I'm just going to give you the generic differences in them, and then you can make the decision yourself on whether you should upgrade or not. Because I know pre-order starts tomorrow and you're like, oh my gosh, like you're running out of time. That's why I produced this video as quickly as I could, and I hope it helps. And before I dive in, make sure you subscribe, stay a while, I really appreciate it, and then also give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful and insightful. And also, just so you know, I normally film with this camera right here. I am actually filming with my iPhone 13 Pro Max right now, and obviously audio from the mic here, but then I'll film with my iPhone 15 Pro Max when I get it, and I'll do a differences video. Now let's dive in. I'm going to cover the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and then the iPhone 12. The reason I'm doing these 3 and nothing older is because anything older doesn't support 5G, so I can give you the answer right now. If you're like, oh, should I upgrade? If it's anything older than an iPhone 12, I say go ahead and upgrade just for the 5G capability itself. All right, all of this is on the Apple website. You can actually go to carrier websites as well and do this comparison. But I'm on the Apple website and let's go through it. All right, so iPhone 15 Pro Max, iPhone 13 Pro Max, iPhone 12. As you can see, obviously Pro Max, bigger screens, cool. All of it's basically the same. Except for you got the ProMotion technology in the 13 and the 15. And the 15 is going to support the always on display, which iOS 17 is going to have a standby mode where you can turn your iPhone to the side while it's charging, and you can see the time and also widgets, and it's always on. So that's kind of cool. So if you're like, oh man, I want the always on display, then there you go. There's your answer right there. Go ahead and upgrade because no other phone's going to do that. If you're thinking about upgrading from like the 14 or the 14 Pro, I would just say wait. That would be my advice to you. But again, 13 Pro Max, if you want that always on, then there's a good reason to upgrade right there. Moving on, what it's made out of. So the iPhone 12 is going to be the aluminum, iPhone 13 is going to be the stainless steel, and then the titanium is going to be the iPhone 15 Pro Max. The titanium, pretty awesome. Means it's stronger, it's also lighter. So if that's something that interests you, fantastic. There's also the difference here in this action button, which you can program. That's not a big deal. I'm going to be honest, it's kind of underwhelming because you can only do one thing with it at a time. You can make it a ring or a silent switch, or you can make it the light or all that, whatever. It doesn't really impress me. Probably doesn't impress you that much. iPhone Pro Max is going to come with that dynamic island, which obviously the 13 and the 12 do not have, and that just means that little notch above in the iPhone screen, it's just going to basically transform into whatever you're doing. So if you're taking a phone call, boom, there's the phone. If you're listening to music, it goes on. That's not worth the upgrade in itself, in my opinion, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. As far as processing speed, iPhone 12, if you're kind of like, ooh, nervous about iOS 17 really slowing down my phone, I'm going to be honest with you, when iOS 17 comes out, your 12 is probably going to be very, very, very slow. So I would just go ahead and I would go ahead and make that upgrade. That would be my advice to you. 13 Pro Max, I'm going to be real, not worth the upgrade. If you're just looking at speed and all that, again, I've got the iPhone 13 Max Pro and I absolutely love it. It's not been slow at all. The A15 chip has been absolutely incredible. And then, I mean, the A17 Pro is going to be amazing, but again, it's really going to support that gaming more than anything. So if you're a massive gamer, then cool, make that upgrade. But otherwise, again, not really worth the upgrade. I would stick with the iPhone 13 Pro Max at this point. And again, the 12, yeah, as far as speed goes, that A14 is not going to be anything near what the A17 Pro is going to be. Moving on, as far as the camera system, I mean, as you can see, basically all of this is the same, so I'm not going to really talk about it. But if you do use your camera very, very often, or you even get paid for photography or something like that, the camera in itself is probably worth the upgrade, especially from the 13 Pro Max to the 15 Pro Max. I'll give you my answer right now. I'm going to start using it for YouTube videos, which is why I'm doing this video right here. So if you do some kind of content creation, then the 15 Pro Max is awesome. Love it. And it would be worth the upgrade there. But that's one of the biggest reasons. Again, from the 12 to the 15 Pro Max, yeah, the speed of the device. From the 13 Pro Max to the 15, the camera is going to be much nicer and better. You can see here the optical zooms. You can definitely see the difference. Look, 0.51, 0.5 to 3, and then this has got 0.5 to 5, which is a pretty big difference. They've all got SOS. Not going to really talk about that too much. 13 Pro Max is not going to have crash detection and roadside assistance via satellite, but it's very rare you're going to use all these things. Hopefully, again, crash detection, hopefully never, but still not a good enough reason in my mind to upgrade. As far as video playback, the biggest difference in the 12 and the 15, that's a pretty big difference, but the 13 Pro Max to the 15 Pro Max, 28 hours to 29 hours, not that impressive. You know, the charging cable is going to change. It's going to be a USB-C in the 15 Pro Max, but also that means that you can transfer data as far as like from computer or iPad to your iPhone much quicker. As a matter of fact, 20 times faster is what it says. And then you're not going to have that lightning cable anymore. Also, if you travel internationally a lot, that is a more universal cable, is the USB-C. So I'm actually pretty excited about this change. And of course, the EU made them. Let's see here. Face ID, 5G, again, all good. Nothing crazy here. It's going to be a lot stronger with the 15 Pro Max with the titanium as opposed to the stainless steel and, of course, the aluminum. As far as water depth and all that, it's all the same. All MagSafe compatible, all the same. We're not going to really talk about capacity because you choose for yourself what you want. Look at this, all the same. My gosh. And then dynamic islands, the only display difference, not a big deal there. Always on display is the biggest difference. Oops, sorry about that. Always on display is the biggest difference here as far as the display. As you can see, this 2000 nits peak brightness just means when that sun is shining, no more is it going to be like really dim and hard to see. It's actually going to really max out that brightness, and you're going to be able to see it in that sunlight as opposed to the 13 Pro Max and 12. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I hope this isn't boring. I hope this is helping. Here we go. Moving on. The weight, who cares? It's going to be slightly lighter than the 13 Pro Max. That's just because of that titanium. And then, of course, 12 isn't a max, which is why it's only 5. So moving on from there. It's all the same, splash resistant, blah, 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 dust resistant, all the same. The chip, we already talked about the processor. And then moving into the camera, you can look here. I'm not going to get into the specs and all the details on what this means. Basically, the 15 Pro Max is going to be the best camera that they've ever had. You know that every time they come up with a new iPhone, the biggest thing they love to unveil is look at the camera, how amazing it is. However, the biggest difference with, as far as video recording goes, this camera is going to have Academy color encoding system. This means, and Apple was pretty big on this keynote, they were pretty proud of this. It means that it can now be used in basically the film industry. It's the film standard for Hollywood, so they can use an iPhone to record. Is basically the idea. The big difference here is it's got the Wi-Fi 6E as opposed to the Wi-Fi 6. It just means it's slightly better. That's it. Bluetooth 5.3, whoa, as opposed to 5.0 for the other two. Pretty neat. Thread networking technology, I got no idea, but it's got it, so that's pretty cool. Love it. Not worth the upgrade though, as far as just all that stuff. And I'm kind of speeding through here because y'all, everything else is basically the same. There's not a whole lot. So let me go ahead and just sum this up for you. If you got a 13 Pro Max, unless you use the camera for YouTube content creation or photography of some sort, it's not really worth the upgrade. Again, unless you want to utilize iOS 17, have that always on display. It's not really worth the upgrade. As far as the iPhone 12, I would say yes, you'd want the upgrade. That's my opinion, because you're gonna want that A17 Pro chip speed, especially when iOS 17 comes out. Your phone's gonna get just incredibly slow as the 12 after like 2 years. It like becomes outdated, so it's probably time for that upgrade. And as far as any other phone that falls between the 12 to the 14, or the 12 to the 15, that one's up to you. Again, I'm gonna give you my advice here on the 13 Pro Max and the 12. Like I said, I upgrade every single year. I did not upgrade this past year because there just wasn't enough that interests me. Apple's really got to work on the innovation. The past couple keynotes have not been very great. I've been kind of let down by them. I think most of the internet has as well. But 15 Pro Max is worth the upgrade only if you want the titanium, you want the camera, you want the speed. That's basically it, and the always-on display. But if you have any of the 14, I wouldn't upgrade. Should be about it. Y'all, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure and subscribe. Make sure and stay a while. Give the video a thumbs up. Comment in the comments below. I was pretty generic, so if I missed something, hey, add some more info in the comments. I'd love it. I'm sure viewers would love that as well. You can shop my Amazon storefront in the description and the link in the description below. It's a Linktree link. Follow me on the socials as well, and I'm going to put in that pre-order for the iPhone 15 Pro Max at 5 a.m. Pacific time. All right, y'all, take care, and I will talk to y'all next video. God be with you.